Okay, the first thing I'm going to try and do soldering wise here is to desolder this guy. It's just to snip it off like that. Didn't need it. Okay, now, ouch hot? Not too bad. Okay, so we'll make this one of the sensors. We'll go with this guy. In order to do that, the sensor wire, I'm going to do these a little bit. Sensor wire needs to go to there. Positive needs to go to there, so that's about the same, and the negative then needs to go to about there. So just snip a little off the negative. Double check again. Sensor wire can go up to there. Okay, that'll all work well. And if you remember, we need to strip the wires here. In order to do that, I just use my soldering iron. Strip that one. Strip that one. Strip that one. And grab the paper towel to pull the plastic off. And these wires should be twisted a bit. Now I'm going to get some heat shrink. Put it on first. And heat shrink big enough to cover the whole thing, which would be, okay, well here's the one I was, no, got that. The next size up is this. So we're doing, we'll do blue with the next size up. So this will be blue around the whole thing. For the sensor wire, we'll make it green. And for positive, sorry, green's going to go on negative. And running out of this size. There's a red for positive, last one. Okay, now that those are all on, we'll go back to here, and sensor wire goes around here like this. And we'll grab our solder here. Okay. That's the sensor wire. Then we go to the negative. Which needs to be peeled back just a little bit more. And we can clip the extra off under, or that goes under it there, I don't need that. So now this, separate that a little bit, wraps around here. And we'll solder that in. That's that done. Oh, that's not how this was supposed to work, but okay. Now we'll do the positive lead here. Yeah, what I did wrong this time, well, what I could have done better, is if I had put this guy over here, it would have gone all the way to the top, but this one goes all the way to the top, so that's not bad. So let's just grab the gun here, and it needs to be plugged in too. And this whole thing gets bundled like that. We slide the other piece of heat shrink up, and it'll go all the way up like that. And we shrink that down. And that should be good. And now we have to do this one. So for this, grab the resistor, twist the resistor wire. Okay, there's the two sensors. Ready to go. Now I think for this I'm going to bare the wire, but I'm not using the plug-in connection. I think I'll just I'll just solder to power directly. So if I'm going to do that, I need to bare some wire here for when that time comes. And I'm bearing a fair amount there because I know that the wire I'm going to is going to be thicker, so this will be wrapping around it. So we'll twist this up so it hopefully doesn't come unfrayed as I'm doing stuff. And that means the cable is done. So at any time I could plug it in under the table, I guess, and glue it in, but I'm not going to do that right now. It's not that late. I'm going to work on the base unit now. There, now painted gray. I'm looking around for my keystone. And that's what it looks like with the two displays in. Backside looks like that. And then what we have to do is get the keystone to fit in there, somewhat like that. And on the other side, we need to get our nano to fit in like that. So I need to do some marking and cutting in order to get those to fit. Alright, there we go. Keystone fits in there, nano fits in there, USB port out. That guy fits flush there, so everything fits. This is, yeah, I gotta just do a little bit more carving there, make it fit a little bit better, and then that'll be done. So wires have to reach from the far end of the nano here to the far end of the keystone. And if they're a little long, that's fine, they just can't be short. So let's just figure out that length. So that's about that far, and that'll be more than enough. So I got that. Now next up, I need wiring to go from the nano here up to these pins, and then from these pins up to top there. I think I'll just use some more of this cable, and we'll go from there up to about there, I guess. Not sure how we're going to get to there. You know, from there down to the nano is that far, and then I need to branch into there somehow. Yeah, I need to think about that before I start hacking up wire. Okay, here's what I'm thinking of. I got the DuPont wires connected there, so these I can bear and they can just go into the Uno. And then for this guy, I have some of these DuPont wires. It would be easy enough to solder them in up here, and then they'd reach down as well, so I could just twist the two together and then they go in there. And these are relatively thin wires. Now the only problem with that is I need a data and a ground from here, and that means 3 wires, and I don't know if we can do that. Of course, the other thing for data and ground is I could punch these down here, except those won't reach. Although I could get new ones. But then I'd have, already crossing over data and ground, I'd have 1, 2, 3, 4 on a punch down. That's too many. Yeah, I'll have to do some testing and see. Okay, I'm going to use these guys on here, and so we need to do a little bit of soldering here. So that's from the back side. So that's a positive. Next we'll do a negative. That'll be black. These are really cheap cables, by the way. How's that look? Looks pretty good. Okay, next we have data and then clock. I'm gonna make yellow data, I guess. And that'll leave blue for clock. And double check that. Yep, those all look really good. So you can see here, you should be able to see each of those pins is looks good to me. Now all we do is we nip the ends of those pins off. Put my finger over the end so they don't fly away. And there's that done. Now I will have to modify the inside of the housing a little bit so that just cut a little bit of a groove there so that those will fit. So we'll do that next. Oh, and the nice thing about doing this, because I have these connectors on the other end, is it's pretty simple to test to make sure that everything's done right. Make sure I'm putting it in the right way. Nope, I cut them fine enough. That fits well like that. Okay, so now I have these and these that need to be tied together down at here, I think. I don't know. I need to think about this one overnight, I think.